obviously. Couple reasons. I could not get the interface between Rumble and StreamYard to work this morning. So there is no Rumble stream. And with there not being a Rumble side of the house, I was like, why would I, in my being in my right mind, be out in that studio as hot as it is for a live feed if I don't need to be? Hang on a second. I'm clean this lens off for you here. Let's see here. There we go. That's still not great. It's monsoon season here in San Diego. It has gotten incredibly humid over the last couple days. They're calling for thunderstorms. They're calling for thunderstorms today, tomorrow, like all day today. So I'm not thinking we're gonna get any because it's been it's been really humid. There's not really any indication it's gonna rain. They've been calling for thunderstorms, 50% chance of thunderstorms from noon to midnight for the last 3 days, and I have not seen a drop of rain. But I will tell you, it has been ridiculously humid the last couple days. So it's relatively humid today, and I'm like, I just don't want to be out in the studio. Will B says, all right, lazy people, sure to hit that like button. You know, if you don't, Bubbles will pay you a visit. Naked. Bubbles will show up naked. Now, I have a question, because on my camera, it absolutely is reversed. Is everything reversed during a live feed, or can you see it the way it is? That, like, is this backwards? I just don't know. Because to tell you the truth, well, actually, I do know. Because I have this up and I can play. That is weird. That is weird. Darth BMX. How you doing, Darth? I haven't seen you on here in a while. Darth, I actually got to meet Darth and his kid at California Custom Show this year. Darth, are you going to the event in Palm Springs at the thing that Nico and I have set up? It would be cool. It would be cool if as many of you make it as possible. But I wanted to talk to you guys about QSPknives because I have got a handful of them, and you saw I did a couple videos already. I don't understand why QSP is not bigger in the knife world. I really don't. I do know that there is a knife that I don't have here, and we're going to go get it right now. There's a knife that I don't have on here that technically is a QSP knife. Because, oh God, it's so hot out here. It's not so much that it's so hot, it's just so humid out here. It's only 80 degrees here in the studio, and it's about the same temperature. It's just cooler in the house. I think it's still, last night I got down to like 62, 63. So inside the house it's still nice and cool, but out in the garage, the sun's been beating on that garage door all morning. And with it being that humid, 80 degrees out there right now just feels miserable. I will be out there later, but I'm just trying to put it off. So at any rate, QSP, you guys know that QSP sent me some knives, right? All of the QSP knives I have not purchased. So I'll be clear about that. I try to state it in videos. Those are probably the best possible versions of those knives that you're gonna see. But everything that they've ever sent me has just been stellar. David sent me the Penguin back in the day, and I still have my original Penguin. And then I was like, wow, that's amazing. But I never really got any more knives. I saw a woodpecker. I sharpened the QSP woodpecker, which was a friend of mine. Belonged to a friend of Nico's that I was sharpening it for. And then I have this, which is Daniel's over at Precision Knife Works. This was OEM'd by QSP, and it's amazing how good it is. This is one of the best knives on the market. So if you have not visited Daniel's website, precisionknifeworksusa.com, absolutely do it. This is probably one of the best Wharncliffe knives on the market. And it was done by QSP. Now, a lot of how good this is in coordination with his design work. So their stuff is great so far. Guys, if you haven't dropped a like, I'd appreciate it. There's 6 people here, and I'm not expecting a lot of people. I'm really not. The live feeds are just tapered off to the point. Jared and I were talking about it. Jared's like, why are we doing so many live feeds when there's so little return on investment? So you may see a drop off. I'm doing 3 a week still. This thing is An awesome, awesome knife. There is nothing wrong with this knife. And anything that was wrong with it is design stuff. And Daniel and I talked about the little things that I would do as far as design, like taking the plunge out a little bit further so it's not so close, doesn't have a smile. But I can get by on it. I can do that myself on this. This is a great, great knife. QSP really has done such a good job with a lot of their OEM stuff. And I don't have my reading glasses on. I'm about to get double vision while I'm looking at that knife. So, like, everything on this is so, so good that you just can't complain. So, yeah, I'm that old. I have to have a set of reading glasses. So QSP has really, really nailed it on a lot of stuff. And so when they sent me the Swordfishes in 14C28N, they sent me a bunch of knives that start with P and one that starts with L. And I'm going to go through them. We're going to look at these real quick, and we're going to talk about this further. But they sent me a handful of their knives in varying price points, from everywhere from like $300 down to like $45. And I'm like, this is... Yeah, I can do them on Rumble because, like I said, and I'm going to tell you guys something too. So we'll talk about that. So the Rumble side of the house is cool. I actually get more views. So I got about 400 views if I looked at it right. I may be talking out of my ass, but I don't think I am. I got about 400 views on the live feed that I did with Eric with Eric from Touch Knives, Eric Touch, and on Rumble, and I got about 200 here on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it on both sides of the house. I really do, because it maximizes my reach. And the other thing you guys are gonna see is today, I had intended on filming and stuff, but I had said from day one that I would drop the money for Twitter Blue if I saw that there was some financial returns, even if I don't make them, but I saw that there were financial returns for creators. And so today, I got Twitter Blue a couple days ago. My account is finally verified, and now I can start. Well, actually, it was verified. I already put one video up the second it got verified. So today, I'm going to upload a bunch of my videos to Twitter in full length, because not so much that I care. I just want to have my videos out as many places as possible. What's up, Alice? How you doing? So that's what I'm doing today. And then tomorrow I'm going to film all day and edit and stuff like that. And so that's how my days have been. So Mondays, I was treating them kind of like days off because I get to spend some time with my kid. Uploading to Twitter is something I can do at the kitchen table. We can play with the dog and stuff because it takes a while to upload. So I'll upload one, then wait, upload another, and I can just come in and out and do that. So on a day like today where I'm going to spend time with I just spent the whole morning with my kid. Went ice skating with her. I took her to school. We played with the dog for a little bit. So she went ice skating. I took her to the ice rink. She was on the ice we left here at 7:30 and got back here at like 9:30. So, and then 10:30 she starts school. So I took her there because she only has 2 in-person days. We do that Mondays and Wednesdays. So I get the whole day with my kid. It's fucking great. And then Sundays, a lot of time I do edit and stuff, but I treat that like a day off and we spend that. I did not do it this time. I basically I'm not gonna lie, I had a hangover. Winston Cabretti, one of the paying members, came over to the house and we watched movies until like 2 a.m. and drank Tecate beer and Jameson, which is something I hadn't done in a while. And I didn't have a horrible hangover, but I was exhausted. And my wife was like, we're going over to, they took the dog to basically see his mom and dad and his 2 siblings that are still there. And so they went, and it was like 5 dogs in the pool. It was really cool. And I stayed here, did some little channel management stuff, but I basically just relaxed all day yesterday. Not so much that I had a hangover. I just felt like that I didn't want to do anything. But at any rate, QSP sent me what I think is probably the best showing of their work. And you guys saw a short. This is the QSP Legatus. And I know the lighting's not real great because I am in my kitchen. And that's just how I want to do it. But this thing is amazing. I had intended on doing some of these knives they sent me as giveaways, but the fact is, there's 2 of them that I absolutely fell in love with that aren't going to go anywhere. So that should tell you how good they are. Like, they are amazing. So this is QSP Legatus. It's an M390 titanium carbon fiber, and this is probably one of the best showings of machining and grinding on a knife. This is so super thin. Now, I do know that the models I have been out for a while, but just because they've been out for a while doesn't mean I got to see them. So these are new to me. This thing is super thin behind the edge. This is done in concert with, what is it, Dutch Bushcraft Knives, I think. Dutch Knife Works. I think it's Dutch Knife Works. Allow me to put on my old man devices and look at the blade. DBW, Dutch Blade Works. That's what it was, Dutch Blade Works. This was a collaboration with them, and this thing's great. Milling, everything on this is beautiful. The carbon fiber is done really well. I will move my coffee, and I will bring you guys down, and I'll do a reverse side camera so you guys can see it better. But that is beautifully done. Carbon fiber and everything on it is super, super nice. Pocket clip is really good. There's a lot of milling on it. And then when you look at the blade, that is just a gorgeously done M390 blade that comes down silly thin behind the edge. But the grind on it is gorgeous. And so that is one that I think really shows off the level of machining they're doing. That is probably one of the best feeling knives that I've had come in a while. It just feels, and I don't mean just like the way it feels, I mean like just everything being done and contoured and smooth, softened, the action on it, everything. It's just, it's an all-around great knife. And you guys saw just the other day, let's see, here's it. The swordfish is in, I have not seen the swordfish, Zach. And I got to tell you, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm wearing shorts, I would have that Lon Humphreys on. I wear that Lon Humphrey. Let's go get it. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. I wear that Lon Humphrey fixed blade as my EDC pretty much every day. This is part of my EDC now. It is probably the best carry. I had it all. You can ask Winston Cabretti if he ever pops in. I had that on me the entire time he was here. I was sitting in my gaming chair, and this just rides so nice. It's nice and wide. The sheath on it is just about perfect. It allows it to move around, and it sits so well above your pocket that, like, even sitting down, it's not uncomfortable. I'll talk about this in a little bit. So that's on me, like, constantly. But you guys just saw the really. You guys just really saw basically the first video about this the other day, because I just started carrying this one. This is the Pelican. Is it the Pelican? Yes, this is the Pelican. QSP Pelican, and this thing is beautifully done too. These are, so that, like I said, they sent them to me in different price points. This is like about $300. Titanium, carbon fiber. This is S35, M390. This is S35 VN, micarta, and just beautifully done. The Warncliffe on this, sheep's foot, Warncliffe, whatever. At this point, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm not going to get into the whole debate. Or like, well, that one has belly, so it's this one, and this one doesn't have belly, so it's that one, and that one has a more piercing tip, so it's this one. This style blade, sheep's foot, Warncliffe. We're just going to call them all fucking Warren sheeps. This thing is one of the most comfortable Warncliffes, or really one of the most comfortable knives of this style you're going to come across. The handles on it are just beautifully done. So comfortable. So comfortable to use. It's just a beast. I did a short about this morning and put it up. It was just to music, just because I wanted to show it off. But the micarta and everything on this, let's do the same thing. I'll flip you around so you can take a good look at it from above. Just beautifully done. There's no issues with anything on this knife. It's beautifully. What? I was like, what is that? Oh, that's the coffee spoon. So yeah, that is great. The only thing I could say that I would really want on this, maybe the jimping to be a little bit tighter, and maybe put either an aperture or some thumb studs so you can reverse flick. You can, if you get your finger on it just right and apply just the right amount of pressure, you can reverse flick, see it starting to break loose. You can do it. I can't get it all the time, and I would rather it had an actual thumb stud on it. And if you guys are joining, please drop a like. There's 14 people here, 17 likes, and I guarantee some of you did not drop a like when you came in. It's really a very good Warncliffe, and it's big. It's bigger than it seems, because in hand it feels really nimble, feels really light, and you've got really good control of it. Even though it's a long blade, you've got a lot of really good control. I've started to like a lot of knives that have this, and so I may revisit doing a video about the Koenig Arius. But the problem I have with the Arius is it's more abrupt, and I get forced into that into the flipper and that area up there on the Arius, and I find it to be less comfortable. This one's not as steep of a drop down in, but it is really comfortable because you don't have the swell on the spine. So in pocket, it doesn't have any weirdness when you put it in. It sits nice and straight in the pocket, right up against, like if you're carrying it front, because I carry this in the front part of the pocket. Hey, what's up, Chef Rocky? This doesn't have that big palm swell, so where it's at is on the inside, so you wind up with a cleaner feel than if this had a big, a big bulky spine swell that you get on some knives. And so this sits really, really straight and clean. And so just a clean look and feel on this knife. And all the machining and everything that is done on this is so far amazingly done. My eyes are so tired. So no centering issues. Oh, by the way, no centering issues on these. I can't believe people give you a hard time about carrying a fixed blade that's probably no bigger than a steak knife. It's actually, it's not tiny, but you're right. It's about the size of a steak knife. It's about consistent. And not too many people gave me a hard time. I once I informed them, use that Rev Dude code to support him. Hi, what is? I don't know what you're talking about there, but it's not. Once I tell people. Once I remind people, I was like, it's not illegal for me to carry a fixed blade. As long as I'm carrying it, I think it looks more aggressive than it is because of the sheath and everything. It looks a little bit more Bowie-esque and everything. But I love it. I accidentally dropped it the other day. You see right there? I dropped it and nicked it. I'm kind of upset about that. But this is going to get a lot of use, and it's just going to be like that. And this is probably going to be something, if I go camping, this will be one of the knives that I take for my camp stuff, because it's really, really good. It's got a nice 90-degree, even though the spine is nice and crowned and rounded, it's still sharp enough here that you're definitely going to throw a spark off a ferro rod. So absolutely love this knife, but that's not what we're talking about. We were not here to talk about. Lone Star says, hi, so many 2023 models. 23 models nod to the retro military look. This is the way. I like some of the retro military stuff, but I also think that we've kind of gone. I'm just gonna leave these on because every time I try to look at knife, I feel like I can feel my eyes strain and I get double vision. I spent a lot of time this morning already doing shit on the computer. My eyes are tired, and when I don't wear my reading glasses and I get stuff up close, I wind up with double vision. I can feel my eye, like the eye muscles want to like cramp up, and then I wind up with double vision, and I don't like that. It feels awkward. So like I said, drop a like if you're here and you haven't. But so on top of how good everything is, you can see how they milled the micarta. But the micarta is great because it's really well done black, like black canvas micarta, like the coarser style micarta. Let's turn this back around. I'll show you some more. So it's like the coarser style micarta, but it's not polished, and so it's not raw. It's not like rough, but it's also not finished to a point that it feels slick. You have a really good grip, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna unravel. You know what I mean? Ever seen some of them that get milled and they look so coarse that it just looks like they're unraveling, and there's like loose, like an Angora sweater, there's loose fiber, and then the micarta backspacer on it is a really good look. So I definitely like this a lot. This is probably one of the best Wharncliffes. The fact is, though, that I have so many other Wharncliffe knives, as much as I love this probably will wind up being a giveaway. I'm not sure. One of these 3 knives is definitely going to be a giveaway. One of the 4 knives they sent me this time. So I have 5 knives here from them, but at least one of the 4 they sent me is going to be a giveaway. And the reason I would say I would keep more of them is because it's nice to have. It's nice to have a large selection of knives for videos, for comparison videos, for compilation videos, like different Wharncliffe styles and like different handle types and different comfort levels and why it's different. So I've got a lot of knives that I would love to just give away, but I need them for, like, I was like, well, here's the thing. I want to use that in another video. So that makes it really difficult for me to let things go. So remind you guys, I guarantee that some of the 15 of you that are watching have not yet dropped the like button. Hit the like button. Guarantee it. I have to say, it's so much cooler without the big bulky beard. But I didn't ever trim any of my beard while it was growing. And so when it only takes a couple days for this area underneath up here to just start to itch so bad that it makes you crazy. Well, once Stinker Brady was here, it itched so bad. I'm like, I gotta go, I'll be right back. And I went upstairs and I grabbed my clippers and I trimmed off all the stubble and stuff that was growing down here because it just itched so bad I couldn't stand it. And so I'm just gonna, it's just one of those additional things you have to do, but it is just too hot for that full, you know, Viking beard that I had. So, yeah, but that was the QSP Pelican. Now, when they sent these knives to me, I didn't get a chance to get into all of them, but they did send me one. This is the one I think winds up being the giveaway. I'd give that a go on looks. Big size, more of a medium-sized knife guy. It's not that big, though. It is big. It doesn't carry. Okay, it's a big knife, but it doesn't carry like it's a big knife. It doesn't feel like it's a big knife. It doesn't feel. Let me give you an example. PM2. I mean, PM2's pretty much a medium to large size knife. This spends all of its time in my pocket. Oh, I want to talk about I'm going to remind me, somebody don't let me forget to end this before I talk about the hate that people are dropping on my videos about the CME. And I just don't get it. It's ridiculous. So they sent me this one. This is the platypus. And this one is weird. I like it, but it's weird. It's very, very Chinese sword-esque. And I think this is probably going to be a giveaway. I don't know, though. It's really cool. It is cool, but we're going to turn. So I'm going to show you. You guys haven't seen the First Day in Pockets video on this yet, I don't believe. By the way, that is a very, very good flavor. Very, very good flavor. Awesome, awesome flavor. But, so like I was saying, let me get these on because I don't want to have a headache. The other thing, too, is if I don't wear my reading glasses when I'm doing shit like this, I will have a headache all afternoon. I think I look older. I think I look younger without the. Guys, do I look younger now that I've trimmed the beard down? At any rate, so what you get on this is you get some really, really cool milling on that back spacer. Like, that is awesome. And you can reverse flick off the fuller on this, and it has a Emerson wave type feature that you can wave it off the pocket. But this one's in 14C28N, and the grind on it is great. It is super, super sharp. They made this G10 in this fashion where I think they laid 2 different layers down like this and then cut it out and then put the pieces. There is no, like, you cannot feel a transition, and you can see that the milling lines run through it nice and clean and smooth. So it looks like one piece, but it's definitely 2. But the thumb studs on this, good access. You got really good liner lock. The action on it is nice and smooth. It's not as smooth as like the Legatus, like the $300 model. But this is, I think these were like 85 or 90 when I checked. I don't really know what the price point on them was like for definite. But this was cheaper. So this was definitely the cheaper option between these two. These are like $179. I think these are closer to 80 or 90. I don't know. I don't know. But these are all available on Blade HQ. You can use my link to get them. And if you find the videos I did about them, I'm sure I put links to purchase for these. But this, I have to say, in hand, really comfortable. The grip on this, really, really comfortable. And it's definitely unique. But even on a cheaper model, well, let's look it up. Let me look it up. QSP Platypus. So the QSP Platypus is $62. Scissors $62. So, I mean, just right there, the fact that they went to the trouble, and it's got that Chinese style of graphics like you see on banners and things like that with the really geometric lines and everything, and that's definitely out of focus. I'm sorry. It's a really cool, really, really cool knife at $62. And so that's why we're talking about QSP. Definitely talking about QSP. And then I have to say, they sent me a bunch of knives, right? They sent me a bunch of knives that are much more expensive. Well, they sent me a couple of knives much more expensive. We're talking like in the $150, $200 range to all the way up to the $300 range with these two. And then they sent me a much more affordable option, which is which is this one, which is like $62, still like just a little over 50. This one was 30. When they sent me this one, I fell in love with it. And another cool thing, the materials they use, awesome. This is denim micarta. Let me turn this around and show you. This is like faded jeans, denim micarta. I'm sorry about the lighting, it gives it a weird look, but that is denim micarta. So they made the micarta out of old blue jeans, and then I did the blade. This is in D2 steel. I did the ceramic on the blade. This is this is one of the best budget knives on the market, is this QSP Penguin. It's amazing how good this is, and is just simple, and it is super. It needs taken apart and cleaned because it does get carried a lot. But the action on it is ridiculously good for a $30 knife. And you just can't go wrong with it. It's it takes a hair whittling sharp edge. This is something that I grab. I do in a lot of packages. I cut a lot of packages with stuff. Talk about that in a minute too. But they sent me this a long time ago. I'm still really impressed with this. And when I see, like, I get, people are like, a lot of people get upset. They're like, oh, you're making fun of my choices. I'm not making fun of your choices. I just sometimes see it being silly, the things that people do. This is a $30 knife, but they have a much more expensive version of it. And I was like, but why would I spend money on something that really doesn't change the knife overall? Like the materials. Yeah, it's titanium. So what? I like this. I like this material. It's really cool. Oh, well, it's done as like, this D2 is like stupid good. Like hair whittling sharp on this edge. The things that people buy and they spend their money on, that's fine with them. But don't get upset when I look at it and go, well, that seems silly to me. When there is a $30 option that is as good. And in some cases, in my opinion, better because of the uniqueness of the material in this. You just can't go wrong with this one. They also sent me one in orange something. I don't remember. It was another micarta, or it might have been orange G10. But I did that as a giveaway, and I kept this one. But QSP has a model that they sent me that I absolutely think just kicks the crap out of some much more expensive knives. Much, much more expensive knives on the market. I like it even better than I like their $300 collab with Dutch Blade Works. It's an amazing knife. For $45, this knife just absolutely just kicks the crap out of so many other knives. This is QSP Penguin, and it is in D2, but their D2 is so good. It really is. This thing is nightmare sharp. It really is. But the way this feels in hand, the way it carries, and the way it drops into that like lined up with my thumb, this is probably the most comfortable knife to carry and hold. Like I said, this is comfortable for different reasons. This is all softened and stuff. Like, it just feels super, super quality. This is probably the best knife they've made. I absolutely love this QSP Pangolin. And if you guys are here and you haven't dropped a like, I'd appreciate it. It would be amazing if you do that. It helps me with the algorithm and things like that. And people will look at it and go, well, it's in a lot. We're gonna go out here to grab this. They're like, well, that's in some substandard materials. And I'm like, I really don't think it is. Their D2 is amazing. Their D2 is freaking awesome. And then people are like, well, it's in G10. I was like, I've had some pretty expensive knives in G10. But the one that I've heard most people say that I really don't understand, because, and I'll tell you, K-Man, what's up, Cam Man? The one I really don't understand is when they talk about, I've heard people, like I've had people, and their comments wind up being held because they're very, like, they're like cursing and swearing and being, like, calling me all kinds of bad names. And I typically don't then authorize this because I just don't want that to be the direction of my, like, you can make a statement and tell me that you think something is garbage without doing it abusively and using a bunch of foul language, because I do understand I do have some younger followers. I look at my metrics and I do know that like 10% of my, like 8 to 10% of my followers and viewers are under the age of 18, between 10 and 18. And so that makes me want to, like, I do know my live feeds can get a little bit blue, but I try to keep at least the comments section in my main videos, right? But they're talking about the bearings that are in it. And they're like, these bearings and the detent ball. And they're like, it's, well, they're in steel, they're not ceramic. And I was like, allow me to point out to you something. This was a $550 knife. The bearings that are in this and the action on this that is just ridiculously good was accomplished. You ready for it? Got a rattle that I can't figure out where it's coming from. I think I need to tighten the pivot on this. I think that's what I've got going on. Is I've got an issue with the pivot being a little off. At any rate, the bearings that this runs on are steel. They're steel. They're steel bearings. And I got to go out here and grab my T15 Torx bit because I want to straighten that issue out, because I feel as though I have a one of my most favoritist knives is a little off center, and that tells me that the pivot is. I have talked to Elliot about different versions of that knife. Mine is really special to me because it was a gift. We all know that, but it's in a finish that we can't duplicate. There's no way to refinish this knife the way to get it back to the way it is right now, and that's sad because I would like to see more knives with that finish on it. Little bit off center. That's what it was. What was that? You have that same problem with your. Oops. Sorry. Cancel that. I almost blocked your comment. I have that same problem with my yokai from Damn Designs. One of the handle screws are stripped and I can't tighten it. It's an annoying. It's not that. Last time I had this apart, I don't think I ever Loctited the pivot screw. Now I've got a little tighter than I want. There we go. Had a little tighter than I wanted that time. There we go. Hear that? Problem solved. Pivot screw is loose. You heard the bearings rattle. This thing is insanely smooth. The detent ball that's in the rolling detent on us, steel. Because I have a Gen 1 rolling detent that Farrenforce used. They called that their Gen 1. It has a steel ball in it. Now, could I take it and put a ceramic one in? I could, but why? It is... You can't even hear anything. The bearings in this are tiny, tiny little steel bearings that are inside a race. They're tiny bearings. Farronforge used some of the smallest bearing races that I've seen on knives this size. But this was a $550 knife. But to tell you the truth, with this model having a very, very special finish that you cannot duplicate now. You cannot get that finish. There's no way to do it now. It's probably worth more than it was. And so how are steel bearings at all substandard? So back to what I was saying, G10, solid material. It's a composite. It's completely impregnable. Unlike wood, it's not going to break down if you get it wet or get oil on it. As good as stabilized wood is, it still has issues. It won't shrink. It won't grow. It has no issues with shrinkage or thermal expansion because it's a composite. It's locked in. It's set. It's not going to change. The blade grind on it, really amazing. The edge that this D2 takes is amazing. What's up, Happy Haptics? What's up, you degenerates? Guys, I will be updating the scroll up. It takes forever, and I just put it off. So if you are a member and you don't see your name in the end of a video, well, a lot of that's because some of the videos you guys were seeing were shot up to a month or a month and a half, almost 2 months ago. I am trying to get far enough ahead that we can have the event, I can set up for stuff, and I can be able to take some time off for my wife's surgery that she has next week. I'm on some better medication for a lot of my issues. They found a combination of medicines that I now only have to take 2 medicines. So my anxiety medicines that I was taking that made me feel like shit, I don't take those anymore. I have medication for nerve pain, and I also have an anti-seizure that I take. I was taking 2 anti-seizures, and now I'm only taking, I'm sorry, I was taking a medication for my anxiety. I was taking a medication for my pain. I was taking 2 medications for my anti-seizure. I now take gabapentin for my nerve pain, and because it also works for anxiety, I no longer take my other anxiety med, and I was able to take one of my anti-seizure meds out because in combination, gabapentin also does a lot for seizures. So now I only take 2 pills. I take my gabapentin and then whatever the other one is that I take for my anti-seizure. And I may stop taking it as well because I'm not gonna lie, I have not had one of those petite mal seizures in a very long time. So, I mean, it could be because I'm taking medication, but who knows? We'll see. But that, and also I've been spending a lot more time outdoors. We got the dog. I'm spending more time with my family. I treat Mondays and Wednesdays now like days off. I do minimal stuff that is not time invasive. I spend the time with my daughter. I'm happier. The channel is suffering. It really is. I've lost more than half of my income on the channel, but like no one wants to hear that. You guys don't care about that. But I would say if you guys can support channels by joining memberships and things like that, if they have merch stores, if they have links below, if they have like I have an Amazon store that's in the description of all my videos. If you're going to take that, pin it to your browser and use that for all of your Amazon shopping, it helps support channels. But at any rate, so do super chats, but I'm not asking you to drop a super chat. This is the pangolin, Cam Man, and I would appreciate if you're going to go look at it and you want to take a look at it, do it with my link. You can find the video I did about this. I'm sure I put a Blade HQ link in there, but you can find it on Blade HQ and you can use my link that's in the description of my videos if you up and purchase one, and I get credit for it. But this thing is, I love this thing. The green, I'm typically not a fan of green on a knife. The green G10 on this is done really well. Super comfortable, and with it being a liner lock, it's even more comfortable, and you've got really, really good access to the liners. But look at that, is stupid smooth, and there's no play in that. There's no play. Any of these knives, really nice free action. A lot of times when you're dealing with a knife that's like $45, if you got really nice free action, if you if you look at the pivot and you fuck with the pivot, you feel it, you're like, really super smooth action. And then you're like, yeah, but then there's blade play. You tighten the pivot down and you lose the action. Pivot on this, tight. It is tight. There is no play in any of these knives, and they all have really, really good free action. It's just hey, I got a notification about something. Hang on. Somebody just texted me. Sorry. I'm trying to stay on top of a couple notifications and things like that, because I have stuff going on with my daughter's school that I'm tracking. I'm making sure I'm not getting texted by her teacher. But it was not. It was Polly over at Purple Heart Barbecue. I was asking him how humid it was in the Chicago area, and I was like, "Is it like stupid humid? Like last year he was complaining about how hot and humid it was." He goes, "Nah, it's been in the mid 70s and 80s, no real humidity." I was like, "Good for you. It's ridiculous here." So if you're just joining, there's 17 people here, 24 likes, but I guarantee that some of you that are here have not hit the like button yet. One of the other things that you're seeing with the glow is the lighting that I use when I do the garage. It's the lights that are over here, and they do have a bit of an orange hue to them. So, look at Chef dropping the big oh, did he, what happened? I didn't see anything. YouTube. Let's see here. Oh, look at you. Thank you very much. I didn't even see that. It didn't show up on here. It showed up on my other phone. I love the Penguin. I have to say the Penguin is probably one of the best knives on the market at the price point. You are not going to find a better $30 knife anywhere, especially considering I like the blade shape and everything. Super functional, super comfortable. It's kind of plain. I like the fact that it's plain. It doesn't try to do anything that it's not. And I'm going to tell you something that I absolutely love, because the ergos on it are good. The ergos on all the QSP stuff are good. And I have a video coming out about Spyderco knives in general. And I absolutely have to give my props to Sal Glesher for banking on feel in hand, comfort, and then usable shapes and things like that might not be attractive. But I have to say, like, banking on a comfortable knife being something someone would want over, like, I have to admit, as I love this knife, and it is comfortable and it is functional, but this knife has got a lot of pop and flash to it that if, like, a lot of people would, even if this was uncomfortable, which it's not, I'm just showing an example of a much more expensive knife. There's a lot of pop and flash, and people look at that and say, oh, that's got to be a good knife, instead of looking at how does that knife perform, how does it feel in hand, how am I going to use it. This knife lives in my pocket 24/7. And it's absolutely because it's a tool, and I use my tools, and a tool that is comfortable, you are much less likely to shy away from using. So there's a lot of times when I have a task, I may have a knife in my pocket, but if I know I have a set task to do, I'm going to take that knife out of my pocket and go find something that I know is going to be comfortable for the long term of that. Like, if I know that I've got to, my friend, he's like, hey, you got to come over to my house and help me. I got to break down like tons of cardboard. He had ordered patio furniture and literally had so much cardboard. He was like, we've got to cut this all up. The knife that was in my pocket was a great knife, but it's not the knife I would have used for that. And I grabbed two knives. I grabbed this, and I grabbed my Sebenza, because I knew that I could cut comfortably for a long time. So that's just one of those things. But now that we're kind of coming up on an hour, I wanted to talk about this. So QSP, we touched on it. QSP is also doing a lot of OEM work. And they did the OEM work for Daniel over at Precision Knife Works on this. And it is an incredibly well-machined knife. And I know that I forget that this phone, I'm not using my good phone because the battery was not charged on this one. So the camera doesn't, the front camera does not focus as well. I find very, very few issues with this. Very, very few. This thing is amazing, and QSP did a great job on the machining. A company, like a lot of people bitch about companies like, oh, their machining is trash. Like, oh, that's a crappy knife, and it's because they had this company OEM it. There are a lot of companies out there that do a very good job of OEM, and I have to tell you that it's a joint effort for an OEM. Like a lot of people, even makers will do this. Like, oh, well, you know, it's because I use this company to OEM it. I was like, I would say it's probably because your design wasn't that great. And the issues that they have, like little things that the designer left out of the design. So when you provide them with a file for them to use, a CAD file or a step file or a, I can't remember the other one, CamCAD and all these other, when you provide them that file, they're going to make what's on that file, right? They may reach out to you and say, hey, we want to do these changes. You know, this might work better. And it absolutely 100% comes down to, can they execute the machining? Well, most companies at this point, yes, they can execute that machining. So if there's things that wind up being sharp or overlooked, I'm going to say those are the things that should get blamed on the designer. If the grind work is garbage and inconsistent and you see chatter marks in the milling and things like that, that's on the machinists. That's on the company. That's on them. But if you get a knife that has really, really clean work, but then you see little things that are like what is this? It's like an artifact or a sharp spot on the lock bar and things like that. Well, that's because the designer did not put that part, didn't clean that area up, and they just made it. So there are some things that you can blame the company that's doing the machining for, and there's a lot of things that you got to look at the designer. But designers, a lot of times, because people don't know, will blame the company that they did it with, and then when there's a future iteration, they're like, oh, we went with these people this time. Maybe it was cheaper, but a lot of times when YouTubers and guys like us get knives in, and then we point these things out, they'll take that and then they'll remove that from the design. Like, yeah, I fucking didn't think about that. I overlooked that. And that's one of the cool things. I've had several knives come in that I absolutely had an influence on the next generation. They're like, I took your, he's like, I get where you're coming from. He's like, I see what you're saying. I'm going to add that to the new design. Case in point, I cannot remember the name of the company. It's an American company. The guy does his knives here. I cannot think of it. It was the Model 1. I can't remember. American Blade Works, I want to say. American Blade Works, maybe. The Model 1. On a future generation, he goes, yeah, that little sharp spot you were talking about, it's gone. Unfortunately, I got to get my girlfriend from work. Hope you all having a safe, stay sharp blade. Later, Cam man. Rocky, thanks again for donating 5 gift memberships. Those of you that just got gift memberships, absolutely, you've got to go. I'll post up a link to the Gilded server today. When you get that link, go there. You can sign in, but you won't have access to any of the chat rooms. You got to DM me on the thing, but you got to make sure that your username here matches your username there. So you've got to duplicate it. If Zachary Schmidt, that's his username here, it's got to be Zachary Schmidt there, or I have no way to bounce it against the actual membership, the actual members list here on YouTube. But I wanted to talk about, so not just the Spyderco PM2, which absolutely, I have to say, it's one of the best knives in the market. I still think it's overpriced. I really still do. I really still do think it's overpriced. But I gotta say, they nailed it. This is the best S90V I've had ever in a production knife ever. And you want to talk about being sharp? I haven't done it. This probably needs touched up because it cut a lot. But you know, everybody does that. The toilet paper and paper towel cut test. Yeah, and I'm not even holding. So like a lot of guys will pull the reel so that they're putting some tension on both sides, so there's a little bit of tension from the roll. That's just free hanging paper towel. That takes a screaming, and I have to tell you, I cut up probably 3 big cardboard boxes this weekend with this, and did not touch it up. I didn't even strop it. It's still that sharp. So their heat treat's amazing. Their ergos have always been great. They have some issues. With quality control and some of their grinds and stuff. This came ground inconsistent, as I would expect. Their plunges are horrible. There was a lot of blade play in this. By the time I got rid of blade play, then I had fucking centering issues, which I will take a minor centering issue over a blade play issue any day of the week. But their locks are great. Their lock mechanisms are great. This compression lock, probably the strongest lock after. Like, I would say that if I was to look at it, I would say you would have triad lock, compression lock. There are some unique ones out there, like when you look at the Exo Gravity knife, the fact that as long as you've got a hold of that, it can't come unlocked. Butterfly knives, where there's just no way for that lock to fail while in use. Things like that probably are stronger than those, because like the only way to make it fail is you're controlling that lock. You are the lock. And that's going to be one of the best. Shark lock's way up there with it. Axis lock is really strong, but I think that I think it goes triad lock, then this one, and then probably down like shark lock. Axis lock is actually really strong. I'm not a big fan of the Axis lock. Button locks are actually pretty good, but they can get damaged really easily with the things that you could do with like testing a button lock with a spine whack. You can definitely fuck that lock up. Is it going to fail? No, but is it going to fuck it up and now you've ruined your knife? Yes, I've done it with a couple button locks here that were nice, that I was going to keep, that were prototypes, were sent to companies, and I'm like, I fucked up the lock and I'm sending it back to you that way. But it was because was not the lock itself, it's what I did to it. So, and if you're just getting here, drop a like. But yeah, still not worth full price on this. The fact is, this exact knife with the original teal handles is $160 right now. So it's well below its MSRP. So you can get there one of the best S90V blades you're ever going to get. It's in an ugly color. I'm going to tell you, it's in an ugly color combination with the teal blade. But you can fix that, as I did with the dye job I did on. And you can get Cerberus knives. You can get aftermarket scales that are just amazing looking. But what I wanted to talk about, so we can talk about this for a minute, I did 2 videos so far about the compression made easy, the CME, by Justin over at OCD for EDC. And some people are like, oh, that's a solution looking for a problem. I'm like, these are people that, like, I get so upset. Same thing with people making comments about, oh, well, that's substandard materials. And I'm like, really? Those are the materials we were using in high-end knives for years. How is that any substandard? There's some definite. Have you ever had a CRK deadbolt lock knife? I have not, but I handled one that Nick Shabazz has. I did, and I don't necessarily like it or hate it. I think it's overpriced. But there are some exceptions to that. There are some locks that have then like a secondary pin. Riat has one that there's 2 pins that you can depress to unlock it, and 2 physical pins that lock the knife shut or open. There's a couple other companies that have one that it's like a frame lock, but then there's a pin that goes in it that basically makes it a fixed blade. So there's some exceptions that are definitely going to be stronger than those locks. I mean, but that's an addition to something else. So I'm talking just like the lock itself, not like an additional mechanism. But yeah, up there. But so I got this CME. And I did a video about installing it. And people were like, yeah, I want to fucking super glue a piece of plastic to my knife. And I was like, you guys forget that for years, guys were putting zip ties. I saw somebody comment about it, and I said I would address it later. I have to tell you guys a story. Remind me to tell you the story about the garage. Guys were putting zip ties on this and then clipping them off to add a wave feature. So I don't get it. I don't get why you're so. So what you do is you take this piece and it's milled specifically to fit in that little pocket, and you can super glue a couple drops of super glue on it. And they're like, wow, super glue, that's a weak. Super glue actually is really good in this application. Super glue is not really good for like any twisting or like where you're going to have something that would flex, but something that you're simply pushing in on, because that's all you're doing is you're pushing in on it. It's amazing for that. You're not like, you would really, like, you're not going to break it off in normal use, really. If you used the proper amount of super glue and you cleaned up both surfaces, it's on there. But people are like, oh, that's just ridiculous. That's just a waste of money and this and that. I was like, I got news for you. I got above average size hands. To reach in on that lock was awkward. I also have nerve damage in my hands and down my arm. And I have lost a lot of those fine motor skills. I have a hard time taking knives apart sometimes because I can't manipulate the screw to get it back in the screw hole the way I want. That's why I have some really thin locking tweezers that like I can squeeze on and then roll the, I should have used those to put this on, as opposed to like if you saw the video of me installing. But so like I have nerve damage issues in my hands. That makes that a very much added thing. And with having larger hands, I don't have to reach in. I'm not reaching all the way in here, which puts the knife in an awkward position, and I'm just on the point of it. If you're left-handed, I tried operating this left-handed, and I see what Justin was saying. I tried operating this left-handed without the CME, and you're like pinched in, and your thumb is all the way in, and you're going to drop the knife. And he said he dropped his several times. Absolutely, absolutely a game changer, in my opinion, that made, like, I loved the knife. I didn't like the compression lock. I liked the strength of compression lock. I didn't like the lock itself because it felt awkward. Put the CME on it, fucking amazing. But so many people just crap on a product without even, like, I guarantee that everyone that ever crapped on this in a video, in my comments, never tried one. Like, ew, you're eating that. I was like, have you ever tried it? No, then how do you know? Really, right? I mean, there's some exceptions to that. Like, dogs like cat poop, and cat poop stinks. But the thing is, people like cheese. Cheese smells horrible. For all we like, cheese tastes amazing, smells horrible. For all we know, cat turds might just be one of the most amazing things out there. And if you're just joining, please drop a like. It helps the algorithm. It gets more people here. It shares it to more people. But the CME that I put on this is amazing. And yeah, it's not the exact same color, but I don't care about that, really. The only thing I didn't like was I didn't like the teal on this. And so, as you can see, when you put this thing in there, it's in on that. It's been done just about perfectly. You just have just a tiny little space between there and there. You can see this gets carried a lot. And it allows you to just depress that really easily, a lot like a button lock. And it takes a lot of that weirdness out. It definitely takes a lot of that weirdness out of that lock. The things about the lock I didn't like are completely mitigated by putting that on there. And some people are like, well, now if you squeeze down on it, it's going to unlock the lock. Not even. Not even. You have to push on that pretty hard and pretty far to get that in. And somebody was like, well, yeah, now if you squeeze down on it, the lock's going to give way. No, I'm squeezing on that as hard as I can. Nope. Even when I hold it up here in a pinch grip. Nope. Up here where I'm going to hold it, not a chance. Absolutely not. So I would say that more people are making up issues with the CME than they like, oh, you're just going to do this. No, it's not. Like, you haven't tried it. And they're like, oh, $20 for a piece of plastic I'm going to glue in my knife. And I'm like, so don't, here's the thing. Don't buy it. Like, don't complain about it. If you haven't tried it. Like, I say that don't complain about it because basically that's part of my job as a YouTube knife reviewer. Like, I don't like this about this knife. But at least I've had this knife in my hand, right? And it goes back to other things, like people complaining about customer service for knives. Like, there was a whole bunch of people, we're going to use this as an example. There's a ton of people that were going on live feeds and just complaining about the Artisan and CJRB customer service. One of the big problems was they were not actually people that had an issue with a knife. And the other one was, so I reached out to a couple of these people. I was like, okay, so yeah, it does basically turn it into a button lock. It absolutely turns this into a left-handed button lock. It's basically now a left-handed button lock. You're absolutely right. And so I reached out to a couple of these people in the comments, and I was like, because a lot of the comments were nasty, and they wound up in my little catch filter. And I was like, okay, I'll tell you what. I'm friends with the folks at the company. I'm friends with the U.S. rep. Give me your email address that you sent them the message to, and I will forward it on and say, hey, look, can you resolve this guy's issues? Because the thing is, people send an email and expect an immediate response. If you send an email to the customer service at Ferrum Forge or at CGRB and Artisan, and you think, because everyone's like, oh, they're huge companies. They're not. There's one person that runs their sales and their customer service. One person. How many knives, how many thousands of knives are out on the market? I can tell you right now, just looking at my royalties for the Sea Snake, they sell thousands of my knife every month. They have to. That's the only way with the like 5 cents per knife that I make that I get more than $100 every quarter. They're selling thousands of my knife. They have to be for me to get a couple $100 every quarter, right? I'm not going to tell you exactly what I make on it, but it's not a huge amount. So I'm waiting for a response. Like, well, I never actually mailed them. I was like, so what you're telling me is you went on and complained about something that you had never even done. You complained about not getting response. You got a knife that was screwed up and you never even reached out to their customer service. But yet then you complained about their customer service. Right? How is that even, I'm like, that's like wiping before you poop. It don't make any sense. It's just ridiculous. Polly just put up a video on his channel, Purple Heart Barbecue. You might want to check it out. His videos are really, really, but it feels good. Yeah, it feels good. So what they're doing is they'll find a company and they might not like the company and they might not like the country of origin or something like that. And so they just go in and they start bashing. So they'll do that. And it's always these companies like, let's say Artisan. Artisan is an American company. CGRB is a Chinese company. The owners are the best friends you could ever imagine. They basically grew up together in China. But David moved to the United States and his company is based in Chino Hills, California, here. It's where the business license and everything for Artisan is. CGRB, Chinese company, owned by another guy. They work together. They share the same machining line. And to save costs, they share a website and sales department selling the American knives and the Chinese ones on there. I've been waiting for a screw from Artisan, and they said it shipped since the beginning of winter. I may try to find the email and see what's up. Yeah. And I got stone hands. If you send me a DM on Instagram and let me know, I'll forward that along. Because like I said, I'm friends with them. I'm like, hey, this is one of my subscribers. Can you check into it? But what I would say is, if you haven't gotten a response, like 72 hours, what they say is, if you email, they'll have you a response within the next 3 business days, 72 working hours. So if you email them on a Friday, don't expect a response on Monday. If you email them on Friday afternoon, expect a response Tuesday, Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Like Wednesday time frame. If you don't get that within like that 72 hours, then you take that email that you sent and you back it up and say, hey, just double checking on this, just resend that email back to them and say, hey, the above email, I don't know whether you guys just didn't see it or what, because they are busy. Think about how many knives come out of that plant. And you got to remember, CGRB knives, usually around $100, under $100. There's much more chance of a lemon at the $45 to $100 mark than there is at the $200 and $300 mark. So it's just one of those things. But the fact is, I forget who it was. One of the guys that was on here commented. I was like, did you contact customer service? He goes, no, I didn't. And I was like, contact them. And hey, what's up, buddy? The fact was Wallace, not Steve Wallace. Who was it? I don't remember. At any rate, they reached out to customer service. Customer service sent them a brand new knife. He goes, you called me out and you were right. He's like, the second I reached out to him, I'm like, oh, we apologize for that. We'll send you a new knife. So, and if you're just dropping in, drop a like. It would be cool and would help. Mark. Yeah, there you go. It was Mark. That's what it was. It was Mark. There you go, Mark Ridgewell. And I'm not trying to call you out. I'm just saying, like, it's just one of those things. Like, people will complain, before they try to get a resolution. People are like, oh, I got this knife, it was all fucked up. And I was like, before you put them on blast, did you reach out to the company and talk to them to see if maybe they're like, oh, we're sorry about that. We didn't realize that happened. You know, companies will do that. They want happy customers. And a lot of times they'll go out of their way. As much, like I said, I know the guys. I know a lot of the people that work at CJRB and Artisan, and they're awesome. They're great. So, guys, we've reached that point, just about the halfway point of the live feed. I kind of have to do this. I'm already wearing the shirt because I know I'm not on my computer, so I can't put up an ad. Coffee Brand Coffee is a channel sponsor, and they have provided me some stuff for giveaways. They sponsored giveaways and stuff. If you have not checked them out, you can go to Coffee Brand Coffee and use my coupon code CrazySharp. It's all one word. Crazy Sharp, and it saves you 5%. Sometimes it's 10. We're gonna do a couple. I'm gonna try and do a sponsored live feed with them where they're gonna provide me with giveaway products. So we'll. But when I do a sponsored giveaway, like when I do a sponsored live, like Coffee Brand Coffee sponsored live, my coupon code doubles. It goes to 10% during the duration of live feed. So just keep that in mind. And then the other thing is, God damn it. I was just getting ready to say it. Ding, 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 ding. If you can't support channels and drop super chats, we absolutely love them. Hey, everyone, how's it going? I was just talking about QSP knives, and we were talking about your knife being a very, very good showing of their OEM capabilities. So that's one of those things. I do appreciate the live. I definitely would much more appreciate if you guys got in on a membership where I can provide you a better benefit than just calling out your chat. But Daniel up at Custom EDC Knives absolutely drops super chats all the time, and I appreciate it. But he sent me this knife, and this is mine, and this is something that I will not go anywhere. And this thing is possibly the best slicing knife out there. And this knife makes me, I'm gonna have to do a video. I'm gonna have to borrow one of the paying members that just purchased one. I'm gonna have to borrow one of their Yojimbos because I do owe the Spyderco Yojimbo owners a bit of an apology. I was very, very critical of the Yojimbo for a long time with that super thin tip hollow grind like what you have on this. And I've done a lot of stuff with this. And yes, it is more fragile, but I don't think it's going to be as fragile as I thought it was, because I've done a lot of stuff with this that I would have shied away from originally with the Yojimbo. And I've done it with this, and it held up very, very well. So I think I need to do a video apology to all the Yojimbo owners, and I have to say, this needs sharpened. I use this all the time. Yeah, this one's not sharpened. It definitely needs sharpened. But I have to say, the big thing I want to talk about Spyderco's is their heat treat, the leaps and bounds from what it used to be. And just focusing, and I didn't believe them. I was afraid that it was just like, it was just lip service. They have nailed the heat treat on S90V. And I'm not talking, like, to talk about it in along the lines of that this is as good as almost any S90V I've ever had. I'm going to tell you right now, the only S90V I ever had that was better than this was on one Elliott Williamson's prototypes that he did small batch heat treat of 3 blades at a time with a custom heat treat. Like, there's a big difference between production heat treat and a small batch custom heat treat. For this to be big batch, like 2, 3, 4, 500 knives at a time, however many knives they do, to have it be that good means that they've put a lot of work in their their heat treats. The last time I sharpened this was at 1,000. So that's 1,000 grit. Like, for 1,000 grit to do, oh, I ripped it at the bottom, but for 1,000 grit to just scream through, like right there, that's nuts for it to be that good. It is terrifyingly aggressive, even at 1,000 grit. So I'm wavering. I've sharpened it a few times, mainly because I'm just testing the steel because it is great. I'm going to say right around 800 to 1,000 grit on this S90V is probably just Goldilocks zone. It's just about perfect. And this is, okay, so I did this at 1,000 grit on, if I could say something. I did it. I've sharpened S90V on aluminum oxide before, and it does okay. It's one of those steels you can do. I think that, like, Jared says that, like, up to 154 cm, and then you've got to step up. I kind of disagree. There are some steels that still, like, the carbides you have in this are still softer. They're still below the 9 on the Mohs hardness scale that you get with the aluminum oxide, which is basically corundum, which is the same thing as sapphires. So diamond is a 10. Sapphires and aluminum oxide, because that's what sapphires are made of, is a 9. And then usually your carbides you're getting, now in S90V you're getting some that are like 8, 8.5 ish on that Mohs hardness scale. So it does take a little bit more. The edge that you get on this S90V on a diamond stone, on my Vinev diamond stones, is way better than what I was getting on my aluminum oxides. But in all fairness, I did those aluminum oxides, the ones that Dahlstrong sent me, I did those aluminum oxides all the way up to 6,000. So to be fair, I didn't take it off at 1,000. I went all the way to 6,000 on those stones. So it could have something to do with it. But I got to tell you, it definitely did sharpen well. It sharpened easily. It was sharp. It just didn't have the tooth I wanted. But 1,000 grit on those Vinev diamonds, beautiful. It's great. I wouldn't take it any higher than 1,000, to tell you the truth. But yeah, like I was saying, if you guys want to get on a membership, I know that Rocky donated 5. I try to do a lot for the paying members. I have not done anything for a week or two, just because it's been busy. I try to do movie night. I also have a game channel. I announced to them that I'm going to go play games, and we just kind of hang out. They're basically the only people to go to my game channel is the paying members. So, but one of the best things you can do for free is check out, is to drop a like. Drop a like on a video. There's 22 people, 31 likes. I guarantee not everyone has dropped a like. And I apologize, I got my reading glasses on because I'm doing this on the phone, and if I don't do this, I'm going to have a headache for the rest of the day. So, also, you can follow me on Twitter as well. I'm going to start putting up a lot of my content on Twitter now that I have Twitter Blue. I've spent the money. I said that when I saw that Elon actually was going to follow through on paying out to creators, that I was going to get the Twitter Blue, and I did, and I posted up one video. I want to see how easy it was to post to Twitter. It's not hard at all. It is kind of a lengthy process, but that is my plan for the rest of the afternoon. So I'm going to upload a good chunk of my newer content to Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, you can. I'll start adding a link to my Twitter. I think it's just crazy sharp. I think if you just type in crazy sharp on Twitter, you'll find it. But I am going to put up full-length videos on Twitter, because not just because I want to get in on some Twitter ad money, which I do, but I absolutely respect a lot of the stuff that Elon's doing. I don't agree with all of it, but I absolutely do respect a lot of the stuff that he's doing, and it's something that absolutely. You want your belly rubs? You want your belly rubs? Is that what you want? You want your belly rubs? 44 pounds. 44 pounds at his 16-week veterinary appointment for his shots. 43 pounds. That's what it was, 43 pounds. Mike, it's been really cool to see your journey over the years of knives. It's been fun. It's been fun. Yeah, 43 pounds is what he weighed last Sunday. And then this Sunday he played with all these, like, I think, I haven't checked yet to see, but I did put up a short of him puppy pool day. Let's see how many views that got. 1,800 views. 1,800 views on that. So I just put up, it says I don't always just put up stuff. I put up stuff with the dog and the cat, and because I do want people to understand I have other things in my life other than knives. Not much, but I do have other things. With these glasses on and my beard cut short, I look just like my father. It's terrifying. The daddening has officially occurred. But yeah, like I said, if you want to support the channel with stuff that you're going to buy anyway, Coffee Brand Coffee, buying coffee, you're going to buy coffee anyway. I prefer to buy guilt-free products. And since they don't have any political leanings, like they don't take a political stance on anything, they do zero activism. They're not supporting causes I do agree with, but the flip side is they also are not supporting causes I don't agree with. So you can do that, use the Coffee Brand Coffee links in my videos, and it saves you 5%. Then they've got great coffee. I have to say, this Blackberry Cream, I have 2 bags of this here. I won a couple of the contests. This is my favorite coffee, period. Hands down. I did try out this one. Some of you guys saw me with this one. This is what I'm drinking right now, which is the orange creamsicle. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, but they've got some really good coffee. I won a contest for who could sell the most bags of coffee for the month, and I killed it, destroyed it. And I won a bag of their Roaster's Choice, which I have not opened yet because I've got so much other coffee. Like I said, I've got 2 bags of coffee open on the counter right there. And so I haven't tried it yet, but from what I understand, their Roaster's Choice stuff is amazing. So I'm hoping that I'm really going to enjoy that, I think, if it's as good as everyone says it is. So what's everyone carrying? We didn't do a pocket drop. Like I said, I'm always carrying this. This is in my pocket. This pushed my Norseman out of my pocket. I'm not gonna lie, my Norseman's in its case. For now. I mean, the Norseman's coming back. It's just because I can't have 2 knives that I'm carrying constantly, and then I don't have anything else. And then, since today isn't a filming day, I'm carrying my beg letter because I hadn't carried it for a while. I love this knife a lot too. It's probably one of the best Christmas presents I ever got. The Kaiser beg letter is a top-notch choice for a very, very good knife. I forget how much the XLs are. How much are the beg letter XLs? What are they? 180? We'll check. Kaiser beg letter XL. That's not how you spell that. Let's see. How much are they? They are... The one I have, which is the one at White Mountain Knives, is $90. So they're under 100. That's the thing. You can't get this one. Carrying a custom MST... Carrying our MST Knives custom Technic. Cool. I have not seen one of those, Daniel. That's pretty cool. What's everyone else carrying? There's 20 of you here. Craig Vincent, 80-20, 80-10, 80-20.5, the PE Havrog. Havrog is such a good knife. Like if I had a knife that I wish that because I promised my wife I was buying no more knives. If I had a knife that I wish I could buy, it would be the Havrog. Hey, there you go. I was just talking about you coming over, and I have some stuff that we're gonna unbox from Winston Cabretti. I'm not carrying this. I don't ever carry this. This is the only. I would have to say that this is the only safe queen I have. It doesn't get carried because, like I said, literally I cannot duplicate the finish on this. And so if I ruined the finish on this, it would be, well, I would be inconsolable. I'd be unconsolable. And so I don't carry this. I have it out every once in a while for videos and stuff, and I mess with it. It is great. Like I'll carry it, but I'll carry something else that I'm not gonna use. I'm not gonna use this to cut. I will send you some pics of it. Like you check basically a Russian version of Jason Guthrie's Scout. Oh, okay. I'm gonna like that then. Been carrying the good old Endura 4 for the past couple weeks. I like the Endura 4. It's one of my favorite knives. I have the ZDP 199 one out there, and this S90 makes me think that I need to try and talk to them about maybe fixing my issues with that Spyderco with that fucking heat treat on that one, because if they've adjusted their heat treat to a point where it's that good on the S90, maybe their ZDP 189 will be better, because ZDP 189 that I've had in everything else but that Endura has been amazing. The only problem is I don't have proof of purchase or anything like that. That was a gift to me from someone, and I've carried it a lot, sharpened it a few times, and it just does not hold up. I was given a first quality folder ever. Mine's in one. Civivi Altus, not carried in a while. I like the Altus. That's a good knife. It's a really good knife. You know what I haven't carried in a while that I should? I should put my beg letter away and carry something that I love to carry. Well, besides my Norseman. I'm gonna go get my Norseman right now. Put it in my waistband. It hasn't gotten any. It sounds sacrilegious for me, like coming from me, but I have not carried my Norseman in a couple weeks. Actually, no, it's out on my workbench. I think it's because I was thinking about carrying it. So, yeah. Vosti Valkyrie's a good knife. You did the red fullers and hardware, remember? Yeah, I did. That's right. So Fortis A is just like mine, right? Is this the Fortis A or B? Does the A got the curved lines or the straight lines? I can't remember which this is, A or B. I think this is the A, and I think the B, because this was the alpha, and then the beta was more feminine, if I remember right. That's what sticks in my head, was alpha being more masculine, and then the beta having the curved milled lines, and then that being, in my opinion, more feminine. It doesn't matter. I'm going to always call this the alpha. And then that was this is such a good knife. The edge on that. Yeah, did it run in 50 to 100 parent? I do remember that. I do remember that. I can't believe I waited 6 years so you guys are going to see a video, why did I wait 6 years? And I do know this knife has been out longer than 6 years, but the first time I ever saw one was on Nick Shabazz's channel, and I looked back, and that exact video I watched was 6 years ago. So that's the first time I ever saw one. And then I had some come in for, don't get me wrong, I had some come in for sharpening. I already knew it was a good knife. I just never carried one. The guys that would send them to me are like, they're like, yeah, you're not, I just don't want, I was like, can you do a video? And they're like, well, I really don't want you cutting and stuff with it. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to scratch it, or I don't want to do this. And I was like, then why am I sharpening it? If you're not going to use, are you going to use it? And they're like, well, a little. And I'm like, it's not, bro, that's not a grail knife. That's not like a safe queen. This thing has gotten the shit beat out of it since I got it. Can you see? It gets the crap kicked out of it. DLC has held up really, really well for as much cutting as I've done. So, let's see. What else is everyone carrying? I've got my Norseman out now. It's going in my waistband. It's going to replace the beg letter. And then I could like, I'm pretty much done with the review process of this knife. There'll be a full final review of, actually, no, I already shot the full final review of this. That should tell you when I like a knife, when I really like a knife, and it's something that came in and it might have been given to me. If you like run into me on a day that I'm not filming and I've got that in my pocket, that means I really like it. Especially if like when I go to that's another one. Any of the knives you see on the channel and I say that I've changed or I've modified or I did the anodized, those are things that I absolutely love, because that means it's going to stay with me forever and I'm making it mine. Like this Penguin. Not DLC, but the black ceramic coating I put on the blade because I didn't want it to rust. Just that right there should indicate that I absolutely like that knife way more than just like your average. Like there's knives that come in, like I've got a handful of the Kaiser knives that have come in and I don't carry them all that often. But like Eric Oakes gave me the Solar Storm, and I have his original one, and I can't remember, the Osprey. And I have his, I Can't remember it now. The little short one. Can't think of it off the top of my head. Can't think of the name of the knife. I've got so many knives that now I forget the names of knives. It's just that there's so many here. But I have those 3 knives that Eric Oakes gave me. Those aren't going anywhere. I keep those. Those get carried a lot. You'll catch me on a weekend with the Lantra. You'll catch me a lot of times on a weekend with the Lantra in my pocket. And you saw when I had Eric touch on that he and I both had within reach like our Solar Storms. This one. The Oaks Works Lantra. Love this knife. Great, great little knife. I carry 2 knives at all. I carry 2 knives all the time because there's a lot of times I'll carry something that. And then this one, his first one he did, the Osprey, absolutely an amazing knife. Woo, slippery. My hands are sweaty. I carry this a lot as well. This thing is just ridiculous how sharp it is. Where did I put the Solar Storm? Solar Storm got put somewhere close because I was sitting doing the live feed. So it's somewhere in this general vicinity. So, but at any rate. But, oh, yeah, I put my car keys away. I might go outside, see what it feels like outside. I like, if there's shade, I might go sit. If I can maintain signal, we'll take this and go outside for the last little bit and talk about some stuff. Grab my other kniffs. You want to go potty? Sorry. Let me see if the dog wants to go out. You want to go potty, buddy? Come on, let's go out. So we're going to go outside real quick. And if you haven't dropped a like, I'd appreciate it. If you want to drop a super chat, that'd be great. If you want to join a membership, even better. You want to come out? I'm going out. Woo! How many folders do I have all together? Well, all of them are all together. I don't like leave them apart. It's not like I disassemble a knife and just leave it that way. That'd just be silly. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I spend so much time right here. Insane amount of time sitting here. I love it. It's so comfortable out here. Oh, it's way nicer out here than it is in the house. I don't know how many knives I have all together. I've got well over 100. I've got to have well over 100. There's boxes and boxes. I mean, I have, just on the top shelf of my set of shelves in there, I've probably got 14 knives just on the top shelf, and they're still in their boxes. And then there's probably that many on the next shelf down. I've got boxes of knives that have come in from people that are on lower shelves. I've got, I mean, there's just a lot. I picked up my first Spyderco a few weeks ago, but haven't carried it yet. It's Para 2. Para 2s are good. That's one of their best knives. It really is one of their best knives. So, and then I've just got crates. I mean, if 2A Dave was here, he could tell you, I've got so many fixed blades. Like, I've got probably a large, like a milk crate size box full of fixed blades as well. Just all stuffed in a milk crate size box. And then I've got knives that were in storage for forever. Hey, look who's here. Look who just showed up. Hey, Shop Cat, where you been? Hey, buddy. Oh, you're warm. You've been laying in the sun, haven't you? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here he comes. Here comes chaos. Here comes your best friend. What are you guys doing? Hi. Hi. Chunk, he doesn't want... What are you doing? Why did you knock him down? Hey guys, he wants to play. Chunk wants to play. You like the kitty cat, huh? They love each other so much. Chunk, come on, bud. Get out. No, come on. So, Shopcat is so patient with him. Shopcat is so patient. I'll be like watching him play, and like the dog will have the cat's entire head in his mouth. and the cat's not even really upset. As long as the dog's not like biting his tail, because the dog occasionally will bite his tail and give it a pull. And then he's pretty much broke the dog of that. Like, he'll give him a really hard swat. Yeah, buddy, you're a pretty good cat. You just took a shit, didn't you? I can smell it. Oh, that cat took a shit. It stinks. Oh, he hasn't gotten it all rubbed off his fucking ass yet. Ugh. You want to come back in, dog? That stinks. Coming? Are you coming? Come here. All right. Stay out there. I don't care. Give him some ice cubes. So, I'm probably going to end this, mainly because I want to get everything cleaned up. My wife's going to come home from work here before too long. And I'm going to start uploading stuff to Twitter. I'm going to start uploading a lot of my content there today. So, like I said, I would absolutely appreciate if you guys are going to purchase anything on Amazon or Blade HQ. Use my links. Use my I have like the entire Amazon store available. Like, you just go and take that link and you take it, and once you're there, I have idea list of knives that I recommend. Like, I'm gonna update that stuff some more, because there are new knives that are out that are available that weren't. They were prototypes when I saw them. I'm gonna add those to the list, because there's some knives that you can only get on Amazon. There's some companies that don't sell some of their knives anywhere but Amazon. No, I don't want the cat in the house right now. He chased the cat in. Leave him be. Actually, I don't think it was the cat himself. I think maybe I just caught a whiff of some cat shit somewhere. So yeah, I'm gonna update that, and I've got like a tools list, ideas list of some things that I recommend that you can pick up on Amazon. And it supports the channel, and like I like to say, you can support the channel by buying stuff you're already going to use Amazon, and you know you're going to buy stuff on Amazon, because fuck putting on pants. I've got the coffee. Check them out. American company. They're growing. They're hiring new people. Their coffee's all amazing. They've got like 3,500 5-star reviews, but like 5,000 overall reviews. And most of them are 4-star or higher. So it's really good coffee. 2A Dave's wife absolutely lives on it. So yeah, it's just been a fun little feed. I enjoyed this. We haven't done this for a while. I may just start doing this again. I know I got upset. YouTube has been demonetizing my live feeds and stuff, but the fact is, more of you find me here, and the whole being able to see the comments easier and stuff like that, it is definitely a benefit. I will, if it's not like stupid hot on Wednesday, we'll do this like dual stream style, like I was, where it's on YouTube and it's on Rumble through the StreamYard. So, and if I do that, it'll be an hour here and an hour there, as opposed to 2 hours here. We're at like 90 minutes, like an hour and a half and some change. But I'm not gonna lie. You guys haven't been dropping a lot of comments that were, you guys got to drop comments for me to stay going. It's got to be something good. My sister just sent me something that can't be good. Nothing good. Like, my sister either sends me something horrendous or something mildly depressing. Let's see here. That was depressing. I've been off and on, had a lot going on here. Well, no, I know you have. But like I said, if you haven't dropped a like yet, that's great. Like, drop a like. That is the one thing you can do that definitely supports the channel and absolutely costs you nothing. And I don't understand. People will get upset. Where I'm going to go on a quick tirade before I do go. I get, like, people get upset. I've absolutely had people stop begging for likes. It's not begging for a like. If you watch a video and somebody's put work into it, even if it's not a lot of work, there's a lot of creators that just do like this kind of video, like from their phone. It's just like quick. They don't put any real editing into it, and they do well. But the fact is that at least there was work that went into it. And if you can't just at least drop a like on, and I'm not talking here, I'm talking like, you go to Choir Boy Cutlery or some of the other channels, and if you watch a video and you get 30 seconds of entertainment out of it, just drop a like. Or drop a dislike, but if you drop a dislike, you gotta let people know what they're not doing right. Like nothing is more frustrating than getting a video and it doesn't do well. because people will only watch it for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. But to then not give that creator constructive criticism. You know, I had a video that went up the other day. I'm not gonna lie. I had a video that went up the other day, got 45 fucking views. I took it down. That video got 45 views in 2 days, which means that not only did my subscribers not watch it, my paying members didn't watch it. And people that are paying for content, I would expect from them at least telling me either on a Gilded server or in the comment section of that video what they didn't like about it that made them tune out, why they didn't watch it, why they didn't see it. Now, I do know that there's a big problem with people getting notifications, but when you have like a group of people that can give you that and they don't, it really, man, I love this knife. The action on this is so good. I should carry that instead of my thing. So keep on trucking. This is my first time here and I'll come back for sure. Well, I appreciate it. And like I said, there's going to be a video that goes up at 4 p.m. today. A full review video, or at least a first day in pockets, or sometimes I do a midday. So I typically, if something comes in, I do an unboxing and you'll see the unboxing of those knives. And then those knives go into the queue and you'll see a first day in pockets. Like pretty sure I just put up first day in pockets on the QSP Pelican, the Warncliffe, this one. I'm pretty sure that I just put that up. And then you'll see a full review after a longer period of carry. And there'll be things that I notice on the first day that might bother me, and I might change my idea. I might have a knife that comes in and I'm not sure how I feel about it. And then I'm like, okay, first day in pockets, I like it. And then come 2 weeks later, I may not like it after that. I'll be like, yeah, I think I was infatuated with it. And here's a prime example of that. The EMP Nimble. When I first got it, the first video I did, I was like, this is great. And I talked about it, how cool it was and all this. And then I got it, I had it for a while after I did the final video, and I gave it back to the guy that let me borrow it. And then I got the Nimble XL and the original Nimble back in for review, and I was gonna do a comparison. And when I pulled that Nimble out, I didn't like it. And I completely, over that period of time, I was like, I think I was just infatuated with the coolness of it. And it had some cool lines, and the fuller that was on it was this nice futuristic, like spaceship portal looking thing, and it was rounded on, and I really liked it. And I still do find it aesthetically pleasing and attractive. But as far as function, I found it much less appealing the second time around. And that's why a lot of times when I get these knives in, I'll get a knife in and I keep it, and then I'll come back to it later. You guys might see a video about a knife like a year later after I've done the final review. I'm like kind of revisiting this because I pulled this out. I had it put away for a while. I pulled it out, and now I've kind of changed my mind. Maybe for the good, maybe for the worse. I may have changed my mind about the style. Doug, you are completely underfoot. Like I'm trying not to step on your ear. So those things happen, and that's why you see, like you might see a video about a knife that you saw on my channel a couple years ago. And it's 100% because sometimes I'll pull something out and I'm like, wow, I've completely changed my mind about this. And that's the cool thing about having the channel, is I can do those revisiting things, which is why I keep so many of the knives that do come in. So yeah, but back to like, drop a like on people's videos. Even if I don't watch them, I drop likes on Jared's videos, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I talked with Jared on the phone the other day and we both agree, I can't watch knife content. Occasionally I will. Like if Jared's got something that's really interesting, I'll see something that perks my interest, I will watch the whole video. But typically I'll jump in and I'll see what he's talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, I like that knife too. And I'm out within like a minute. I make sure I watch like 30 seconds so he gets the view, so it kicks his view count up and he gets the ad revenue. But a lot of times that's it. Like I'll stick around for the first minute and then I'm out, because like right now there's like 9 knives on the counter. I don't want to watch a video about other knives. And I definitely don't want to watch a video about knives that I know that I'm either going to... I try not to watch... The other thing, too, we talked about is I try not to watch videos that Jared does, because I know a lot of times those knives are coming to me and I don't want to be biased. So most of the time I will watch Jared's videos several months after. Like I'll go and I'll find a video. I was like, I already did a video about that knife. What did Jared find? Let me see what Jared thought, because I don't want to be tainted. You know what I'm saying? I don't want other people's opinions on an item to affect my opinion. Like if I had done, I'm going to tell you right now, if I had seen a video about this knife before I got it, I probably wouldn't have done a video. I'd be like, I'm not even going to do it. Because I would have had an opinion. I would have seen this in a video and be like, that's hideous. And I probably would have strayed away from it. And I got it and I kind of was like, that's kind of hideous. But I do like it now that I've got it. Like the ergos, that is ridiculous how sharp that is. So there's a lot of stuff that plays into that. And there's a reason I don't watch content. I will go find old Nick Shabazz videos a lot of times just to see if my opinion matches up to his after a long period of time. I watched his video about the PM2. I watched his 6-year-old video about this. And I have to say, a lot of the points he made were points that I made after I watched his 6-year-old video, because I forget what was in his video. I watched it 6 years ago. It was the first video I ever saw about PM2. And I went back and watched it again. I remember watching it and I was like, oh, it was 6 years ago. And I mentioned that in the video that I did. But I watched the video after to see if they were still things that he had said that I found. And I do. I mentioned things like blade to handle ratio, that big lanyard. I don't like these lanyard posts. They're a nightmare to get in and out of a knife. There's a way to do it, like to clean it up and make it fit better. But just all those things, all those things that other knife reviewers are going to say about a knife may change my experience with a knife. So I've just realized that I would much rather just form my own opinions and then go back and maybe watch their videos. Like, I want to see that. I haven't watched it yet. It's in my watch later list. I want to see Jared's like carrying a short sword video. I want to see that. And he was like, it didn't do well. And I'm like, really? He goes, yep. He goes, he spent like a year doing that video all total. I'm working on a big video now that you guys saw the intro probably at least 2 weeks ago. And it's the axe, the Nebula axe, which was the intro with me, questionable use of tools Mike, and Poor Decision Mike, all three of us. And Poor Decision Mike had cut up my wife's picnic table, coffee table, if you watch that intro. I've been working on that video for months, literally, and I just realized that a lot of the footage, the reason it's taken so long is I filmed some stuff, and then I filmed some other stuff, and I did some tabletop, and I talked about it, and then I started to edit together, and I realized I'm not happy with a lot of what I did. And so there's a lot of the field testing stuff you're not going to see. It's just going to be pretty much a tabletop. But there was supposed to be stuff that I did out in the desert, up in the mountains that I did, because I went and I did these things. I'm not happy with the way it was shot. I'm not happy with the way it was in focus. I'm not happy with the audio, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm not going to go back and do that, but I can actually talk to the stuff that I did do, and I'm going to film some small test stuff that I can do out in the yard, like cutting a tent post and how you can use that Nebulax, that artisan Nebulax, like a knife. It fits so many cool things that you can do with that. But yeah, I spent a lot of time doing that footage, and then when I threw some of it, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to start throwing this together and do the actual tabletop. Just absolutely unhappy with the footage. And part of it was I've done some. I have a very expensive DSLR, however that works, camera here at the house, and I tried doing some stuff with it. The audio is always screwed up. I don't have the proper microphone for it. I can't get the shot the way I want. It's too tight and it's too constrained, and it doesn't look the way I want. Not the quality of the video, but absolutely just the lens aspect, like the aspect ratio of the lens. Like it's not for what I want to do. The way that I can do things with these two phones that I have absolutely does a better job for filming the way I want than it does for anything else. And so I borrowed the camera from my buddy, and I was like, well, I'm going to give it back to you. And he's like, well, at least now you know, so you didn't spend a bunch of money. I was like, yeah, exactly. It's so much better to find it out that way. So there's stuff, I'm not gonna lie, I filmed stuff. I told the paying members in the members only video I did the other day, I shot video all weekend here a couple weekends ago. And you guys aren't ever gonna see it because I'm not happy with it. The big thing is, if I put up a video, like if I edit a video and I watch it and I'm like, I wouldn't watch this, you're not gonna watch it. So why would I even put it up? The ones I get upset with is the ones that I really am passionate about and I put a lot of work into, and then those ones tank because I'm like, and it's not even that they tank, just no one even clicks on it to even give it a shot. Like I'll put a lot of work into something and it'll be something I'm really excited about and I'm passionate about, and I think that the knife community would want to see that video. And then it just gets like no one watches it. You know what I mean? Like it gets like 60 views in 2 days. I'm like, that's not even, that means my members didn't even watch it. Like I'm like, I don't know what hits the algorithm, what doesn't. And it changes so often. I'm like, I disagree with Jared about some stuff. I love him, and he's got that huge following now, and that's because he had a couple videos that hit the algorithm really well. But the fact is, he's like, well, these are things that the algorithm, I'm like, okay, but there's always, creators always have this thing where they're like deflecting YouTube shortcomings. YouTube changes their algorithm way too often for you to stay on top of it. There is no way. Everybody's like, oh, well, Mr. Beast nailed the algorithm. Well, Mr. Beast nailed the algorithm a few times. Now he's just such a huge channel, all of his videos are going to do well. He's just known. Jared's channel is kind of like that now. No matter, like, Jared will have some videos that don't do well, but they're going to do significantly better than anyone else's channel because he's large enough that YouTube's going to recommend that. It's not going to be 100% based on how the video did on the algorithms, be more based on how previous things have happened and his following. And they're like, well, we'll push this, but we won't push that. Same thing. Like Jared's live feeds don't get demonetized. Cole and I do. What's the difference? I don't really think that I'm doing anything that is that would warrant being demonetized. Neither is Cole. What's the difference? I got 12,000 subs. Jared's got 200,000, coming up on 300,000. You see the big difference? So it's not so much that the bigger channels have the algorithm nailed down. It's more that YouTube now recognizes those channels and is just going to push everything. They're going to be much more inclined to push that content than anyone else that is smaller than that. You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing that sucks is I'll put a lot of work into a video and just no one will ever see it. And there's a lot of videos out there that I've done that are like that. There was a lot of work and there was a lot of research and things that were done that just no one's ever going to see them. So that's why you have to drop likes on videos. It pushes stuff up. So 20 of you here, 39 likes, 40 likes now. If you haven't dropped a like, I'd appreciate it. I am going to get out of here. I want to get the kitchen cleaned up. I want to get something made for lunch. So I'm out of the kitchen when my wife gets home. And I want to start, like I said, I'm going to start uploading my content to Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, you're going to see a lot of content over there as well. It's probably going to be stuff you've already seen. It's stuff that's already been up on YouTube, but I think I can capture a different audience there. I think it will be fun. Like I said, I dropped the money for YouTube, or not YouTube, for Twitter Blue. So we'll see. I said I was going to do it the second I saw that Elon Musk went through on and was honoring his thing that he said he was going to do for creators, where he was going to start revenue sharing ad revenue. So there's no sense not doing it. It's 11. I think it's like $8 or $11 a month. I'm turning off our Netflix right now because Netflix has not recommended me anything except Bollywood movies in a very long time, and there's nothing on Netflix I want to watch anymore. There really isn't. There's just nothing there for me. So I'm going to dump that and just have, we've just only got, so right now the only thing we have is Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus. I'm going to get rid of Netflix because it's most expensive, and I know a lot of us bag on Disney because of their very, very liberal stance. But the fact is, there's so many things on Disney Plus that I can't find anywhere else. That for $7 a month, I can't pass. I watched all 3 of the Indiana Jones movies. I watched all 3 of the 3 Indiana Jones movies, and then that one that was like Mississippi Daniels and the Glass Heads. Which that is absolutely not an Indiana Jones movie. I don't care how many times you try to tell me that's not an Indiana Jones movie. So, yeah, guys, that's it. I'm out. Drop a like on your way out. If you want to, like I said, if you want to support the channel, go use my Amazon store link. And I'm going to, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm trying to do with this live feed. But your big-ass head is in my way. So, guys, I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Watch out for the video coming up at 4 p.m. I'm not sure exactly what one it's going to be yet. I have not decided. I still have to make the thumbnail. So I will see you next time. Wednesday, if it's not oppressively humid, we will be on Rumble. Well, it depends on if I can get Rumble to work with StreamYard. That was a big thing. I just could not get the stream set up properly. So I will see you guys next time. I love y'all. I'm ending this. Later.